Welcome to Under 5, where you can get all your quick tips and tutorials in 5 minutes or less. I'm your host, Mila, and today in this segment of our Intro to After Effects series, we will be going over how to import footage and the different file types you might encounter when doing it. When you start working in After Effects, you will likely be working with these 3 common file types: movie or video files, still images and image sequences, and lastly, audio files. Let's start by going over the first most commonly used file type you will work with inside of After Effects, the movie or video file. The video files you will be importing into After Effects will usually have one of the extensions that are listed on screen. If you are unsure that After Effects supports your file type, go check the Adobe support pages and search for After Effects compatible file types. The next file type you will frequently run into when using After Effects is the image file, or sometimes an image sequence. These files differ from the movie and video files as they are just a single frame, or in the case of an image sequence, a group of single frames that will be used to make a movie. As you can see in this graphic, a list of the most common file extensions used for images and image sequences. And now let's talk about the third most common file type, the audio file. These files can range in bit depth, sample rate, and track count, but usually will be 44:1 or 48K, and either mono or stereo. On screen, you can see a few of the most common file extensions for this type of file. And now that we have gone over the file types and extensions you are likely to encounter, let's go over the import process. For most types of files, the steps required to import them are very similar. First, you go to the top menu and select File, then scroll down and select Import. As you will see, you have 7 options to choose from in this menu. For this tutorial, we will only be going over the first 2. Import file and import multiple files. Import file means for every time you select import, you will only be able to select one file or group of files from a single folder. Import multiple files means it will allow you to import a single or group of files from a single folder, just like import does, but after you click the import button, it will reopen the import window and allow you to navigate to another folder to import another file or group of files, like so. This is the standard way to import most of the media types we discussed earlier in this video. The one thing you will need to be mindful of is when you import an image sequence. An image sequence is a group of still images with a numerical number system at the end of its name. It can be as simple as 1000, 1001, 1002, 1003, and so on. When After Effects sees the number system at the end of the file name, it knows that you are trying to import an image sequence. As soon as you select the first file of the sequence, you will see the sequence checkbox in the import window become active, just like this. If this checkbox doesn't turn on, then there might be something wrong with the sequential order of the numbers on your files, just something to keep an eye out for. We are going to go ahead and import this sequence into After Effects. As you can see, the checkbox indicating that this is an image sequence is active. Now let's go ahead and click on the Import button. As you can see, After Effects has imported the image sequence into the project. Now this is the part that can trip you up and sometimes throw your whole comp off. If you click on the newly imported sequence and look at the top of your project window, you will see that After Effects has imported at its default frame rate of 30 FPS. Normally, you would set your project to the frame rate you are going to be working in, but sometimes like this, you may need to mix footages of different source frame rates into one project. Whenever you start working on VFX or graphics and are getting materials from other vendors, it's always a good idea to ask what frame rate and resolution they are delivering the files to you in. We know that this image sequence is rendered at 60 FPS, but After Effects has brought it in at 30 FPS. Now let's go ahead and change the sequence's frame rate by selecting the sequence in the project window, right-clicking on it and scrolling down to Interpret Footage, then select Main. You can also do this from the File menu, Interpret Footage, Main. In the Interpret Footage window, you will want to change the file's frame rate in the Assume This Frame Rate line from 30 to 60. Then go ahead and click the OK button at the bottom. Now if you go back to the project window and select the sequence again, you will see at the top that it now has a frame rate of 60 FPS. And that's how you import footage into After Effects. If you found this video helpful and would like to see more tips like these, check out the description below for links to other videos in this series, as well as clicking on those like and subscribe buttons. And go ahead, smash that bell to get new video updates. This has been Under 5.